Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I am super excited to be presenting the final 4 Celebrating Our Differences journals. This is a project where I started out with the idea was to create 4 journals that are completely different, but yet have a lot of similarities. I started with some of the same basic colors, and one went sort of a serene watercolor look. One is quiet on the outside and bold on bright, if you will, on the inside. One is just grungy and rusty, and another one is bright, vibrant colors. And they're all different sizes. They're all different in number of pages and everything. Everything about them is all different, but there are these consistencies throughout, and pieces that I created that were the same types of pieces, only done differently. And so you get the idea. And the idea started with, I was thinking one day really about all of the different makers out there and the different results and how gorgeous and beautiful it all is, and yet so different. And that led to me just thinking about our differences, and that led me to thinking about the differences in people, and just, my brain went down this road, and I decided to challenge myself and see if I could kind of get this to work. So this is Celebrating Our Differences, and these are the 4 journals. This video could potentially get long. I will try for it not to be too long, but if I may split it up into 2 videos, we'll see. So let's get started. This is Butterfly. The cover, the outside cover, this is a wood panel that I did actually in early summer. This was one of my design team projects for Tracie Foxy Creative. And this is an encaustic board. It's wood on the background with paints, lots of texture. I think you can kind of see the texture. There's a video on me making this. And then the layer of wax, and then some collaging and a metal butterfly. And that's affixed to the top of this journal with, this is a vintage lace back here in the back, and it's very delicate, but it's on here pretty good, so it'll be fine. And this is a little hat pin that's just tucked in there. So I just tuck that right in there like that. And a knob closure. Butterfly is 6 by 6 by 2 1/4 roughly. Her base is, it's all chipboard. This is actually double thick chipboard, so this is really a nice thickness. And this is a tweed fabric. I think this is an upholstery fabric. Very pretty. Thought the neutral tones worked really well. She has 5 signatures, a total of 124 pages. And she is a design team project for Love Junk Journals for Tracie Foxy Creative. All of Tracie's information will be below, as well as links to the kits I used, which were notelets, flashcards. Flashcards I actually used throughout the whole series. There are flashcards in all 4 journals. Random number snip strips, and watercolor butterflies, of course. Like, how could you not use watercolor butterflies on this journal? I also used a scrapbook paper kit from 49 in Market called Serenity. So let's get started. Let's see, I already showed you kind of what's going on here. She's a rounded spine, metal corners, which you can see better back here. Metal corners, just a little sorry closure with a knob. Any of these kinds of knobs, if you just push down just a little bit, you can work that right off without having to tie and untie it. Okay, here we go. In the front inside cover of most of my journals, inside or front and back. I'm not nervous or anything. You'd think I haven't recorded a video in forever. Anyway, I usually create a pocket using a vintage handkerchief, and so that's what this is here, right here in the front. I don't have a back pocket on this one, just the front. And so my little shop name is affixed to the front. This is notelets. And what I've done is I put a layer, a coating of beeswax on it, and so you can kind of see I think you can see my hand through there, and it gives us this really smooth finish. And I thought that would help with the idea behind Butterfly is that she's very serene. And so this is some of the Serenity paper from 49 and Market. I have a video in this series where I was making tabs for each of the journals, and these are the tabs for this journal. They have some more that same lace underneath a vintage button, and then this fabric piece in the back is from an old a vintage flour sack that happened to have blue writing on it. Flashcards I've got throughout, and I've just got them tucked in here. This is just a card made from a book page from a Butterfly book that I had. Parchment paper, or parchment paper, deli paper. This is an antiqued watercolor paper. I'm going to show you the texture here. Very pretty. And next to that is a handmade paper. I left the watercolor papers all plain so that you can write on them, but you could also, paint on them if you wanted to. This is a little envelope from the Notelets kit, and it is, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. I usually leave my envelopes empty. I mean, that's been lined with some of that same watercolor paper. That way you can stick whatever secret notes you want to in there. This is just a little kind of collage piece. The butterfly is from Watercolor Butterflies. This is some chipboard, and this is just a little frame from 49 and Market, and I've just got tucked, it's a side pocket, side tucked, and I have a couple of vocabulary cards tucked in there. Tranquil and Today. Let's see, some of these cards are French, and some of them are German. Okay, so that's that. And that's the end of the first signature. On the signatures where there isn't a Notelets page here, I have a little vintage doily affixed. So there's the doily on that one. More of the Serenity. Okay, one of the things that I created for all of the journals is one of these little corner, it's sort of a bookmark where you slip it on the corner of your pages. I know there are other creators who have made them. I think Emily from Junk Journal Inspirations has a video where she made some. If I'm wrong about that, sorry, Emily. But I thought it was her. Anyway, I made little corner bookmarks for every one of the journals. And so that's what this is. This just slides on. It's a little square. This is rice paper in the background, and this is a die cut from one of the, I think, 49 and Market kits. And it just slips right on there. And then the back is just paper. Textured paper, more watercolor paper. This is a pocket from a page from Edith Holden. It had a little blue butterfly on there. I thought that was cute. And inside I have another vocabulary card and a tag that I made. And so that's just different square cuts from the same stamp. And it's backed on the scrapbook paper. And then the pages back here, these plain pages are from Notelets as well, these pages. This is just an old envelope clipped in here. It has cool writing on it, and I thought it was really pretty. So I included it. More textured paper. This is a belly band that I made from, this is just a vintage piece that I got in a kit, and I think this piece came from a lace box that I got from, I want to say it was from Patty Lang at Sacred Mementos. I think that's where that came from. And then I just have a little journal card back here, again, with more of those watercolor butterflies and just some other pieces and some sewing. And then it's just backed onto simple, plain enough paper to write on. And then this is just an old receipt. It just has cool, it's just pretty. I guess it's not even a receipt. It looks like it's just somebody did some mathing on the back of it. And another vocabulary card tucked back there. And now we're on signature 3. There's that tab. And then there's more handmade paper of a different sort. Really pretty. This is onion skin paper. This is one of the Tim Holtz, the little slot pockets. And in here I have a vintage, a real one, cigarette card or tea card, who knows what it was from. A faux tea card from one of Tracie's faux tea card kits. And just some tickets. Another one of the watercolor butterflies tucked back here. Some stamps tucked in. It's just a fun little slot pocket. There's more of that paper. This is, I have a video, one of the first videos I did in this series when I took these CDV album pages and created different pockets and or tucks from these, flips. So this is the one that I created for butterfly, and this is a pocket. The top is open, and this is the tag that I have in here. It's just a collage using, again, watercolor butterflies. Say that fast 3 times. Some vintage handwritten paper from random number snip strips, and then just created a collage with some sewing on it. It's backed with just scrapbook paper from the 49 in Market kit, and he goes in there like that. And this is the 4th signature. There's another one of the vocabulary cards tucked on there. More of the same paper, more of the watercolor paper. This is a little tuck spot that's got the slide has mica tile on the inside, and these are just die cuts from the 49 in Market Serenity kit. And then this is from a book, a butterfly book, and it had that cool, it looks like the butterflies are all, it looks like these were all printed on, you know, like a clear paper and layered. Very cool. And so I just turned that into a journaling card so that and just tucked it in there, and that works. Oops, skipped a page. Here's another pocket I'm using from Notelets. And another little card. This is colored. This is modeling paste with color added to it. And then the little butterflies here each have embossing powder. I think I used Seth Apter's Vintage Beeswax on those. And so you can see that sheen and just some more layering in the background with some vintage papers and whatnot. And more paper, more cards tucked here and there. I have a video, I think, I don't know. Actually, no, I don't. I did not do a video on these. I made envelopes for each of the journals, again, so each one has, you know, an envelope in it. More of another butterfly that has some vintage beeswax embossing powder on it, some die cuts, and then this base of the envelope, this up here at the top, this butterfly stuff up here at the top is washi tape. And then the base of the envelope is player piano paper roll. You can see the little holes in there from the player piano paper. And then underneath, I affixed that to some cardstock that I had used some magicals on. And so the blues are coming through. And that's that envelope. That was a fun project. And there we go. We're at the last signature. This is just a little card I've got tucked in here, and another vocabulary card. I just thought this was pretty. It's German, vintage piece. More of the same paper, the onion skin, the handmade paper. Here's another little card, journal card that I made. This piece on top is a silk. It's from I want to say cigarette cards, but it's not a card. Obviously, it's silk. So it silks from cigarette packs, if you will. And so this one actually looks like a moth, but and I just added a little pin and just some layering, more from the random number snip strips, and a frame back here and some sewing. And I put all of that on a card and just backed it with, this is some of the paper from Notelets. That was just a fun little card to throw in there that you could journal on the back of. Lots of journaling space. I always like to leave lots of journaling space in the journals that I create. Here's a pocket. This page in the back is from the butterfly book that I have. And so I just used that, put it on some scrapbook paper, did some sewing and a little bit of stamping and then some layers here. And then on the inside, I have another card, just some little baby butterflies in a frame, and just backed it with some plain paper and, oops, get in there, and another vocabulary card. There we go. And that brings us to the end. This is the inside back cover with the butterflies, of course. How could you not put them in there? Which is why I didn't want to put a pocket back here, because I didn't want to cover any of them up. So I just left that plain. So that, my friends, is butterfly. Okay, next, well, we'll move right along. Oh, and also I made mixed media tags. I think I did do a video on these. And this is the tag that I made to go with butterfly. She's a little tall. Oh, she actually does fit in there. Okay. The next one that I finished was Mr. Grunge. Mr. Grunge. I had so much fun with playing with rust with this. This is the mixed media tag that I made for Mr. Grunge, and I sort of mirrored that window a little bit and some of the types of pieces on the front. And he is just full of just stuff. The very back is a vintage, and probably antique, actually, book cover. The book was falling apart, and so I salvaged the covers. So I have the back of this one as well. I think that's the front. This is a wood piece. This is metal. This was actually new, and I kind of got some wax on there and toned it down a little bit. This is a watch pocket piece back here in the back. Monocle, I think they're called, eyesight thingy. This is a vial from a watchmaker's cabinet. This is a watch part, rusted paper clip tucked in there. And then these metal pieces were originally sort of a silvery color, and I colored them. And then I put, this is a Tim Holtz, like a faucet knob. And I colored that one with alcohol ink. And then I've got leather strips here and whoops, just there. Oh, there's more on the inside. And then I used a fabric that has, it's really pretty. It's got these gold sort of threads through it. Gorgeous fabric that I got from my friend Michelle. And I then grunged it and dirtied it up. I've also got metal book corners on these, just little ones here. And that's the front. And I just use, I would normally use sari silk that's pretty and ironed. I didn't do that. I just took this wrinkly old sari silk and added it on the front. Same thing, there's enough room here to pull that off of that knob. Okay, the inside, oh, wait a minute, not the inside yet. Mr. Grunge is 5.5 wide by 8.5 tall by 2.5 deep. He has 5 signatures and 148 pages on the inside. He is also a design team project for Love Junk Journals for Tracie Foxy Creative. And inside Mr. Grunge, I used one of her newer kits, Vintage Bugs Ephemera Kit, which is, it was such a fun kit. I actually like bugs. Tattered paint. She has 2 tattered paint sets, a set 1 and a set 2. I just print them all out and just keep them here. I like using them in my grungier type journals. So I don't know if the pages I use are from set 1, set 2, or a combination of both. But tattered paint. And then I've also used actually a lot from Bumper Florals in this journal as well. And then 49 in Market scrapbook paper again, but I used random pieces from random kits that I just thought sort of worked together. Sort of using up some of the page packs that I've had. And so I couldn't even tell you which ones they were, but I can tell you they were all from 49 in Market. Okay, so here we go. And this frame on the front cover is from Tim Holtz frames. You get, I don't know, 10 or 12 or so in a package. And I've just got a lot of texture and color and grunge, completely changed the face of it. And then just have some pieces behind it. Okay, here we go. Inside this one, let me see if I can get He's a doozy. He's a fatty. This is the vintage handkerchief that I've used on the inside here, and this is Tim Holtz paper here. But all of these sheets, the first page of all the signature are from 49 and Market. These are the leather tabs with washers on some and brads on others with the wire as the tab that I made in one of my videos. And I've just added on the first page of each signature this, it's like a micro suede, so it has a suede feel. It's really pretty fabric. This is using the vintage bugs, and I've got tucked here in front this little card with mica on the top, and you can see I've sewn that on, so a little piece of mica slipped on there, and a little card on the front. And on the inside I have one of the word cards, and I think that one's German, and then just one of the cards from Vintage Bugs. And that's a Tim Holtz die cut, this pocket folder with some stamping on it. The page in the background is from Vintage Bugs, and down here in the corner I've added some rust with rusting powder, which was so fun to play with. If you like rust in your journals, I highly recommend. Just coffee dyed paper, ledger paper that I've just got folded over, and I've got some faux vintage tape on there. This is just a handmade textured paper that I've got sloppily thrown in there. This is a little diary from 1912. Just have a page in there. And journal page. And all the journal pages and all of the older book pages that I've used in all of these journals, I have fabric or washi tape lining the fold. Here's a little, this is a bug here from Tim Holtz. There you go. And I colored him with alcohol ink. And so that is a pocket from the Vintage Bugs kit. And there's another word in here. And a little, this is a tag from the kit. I just added a die cut leaf with some tape and then just backed it with craft colored paper on the back. And then this is from, this page in the background here is from Tattered Paint. Set 1 or set 2. More rust added here, little die cut leaves. And this is just an old envelope from some stuff that I'd gotten. I actually think this one came from an estate sale with some more of the faux tape. And then I just have tucked inside here a few pieces, just certificates, something from a bank, just fun little pieces that I thought went in there. More journal page, and this is the back half of that sort of diary page. Here's another vintage journal page. This one is from 1871, and I just folded it so that I could get the whole thing in there. And it's got, the handwriting is just gorgeous. Coffee dyed paper, and then this is the back of the first signature. No, it's not yet. This is the back of the first signature. This is a pocket. This piece here in the background is from one of Tracie's freebies that I think was in Foxy Rag, maybe issue 9, 10. And then this is just a die cut butterfly added in some of that tape. Then in here I have a little postcard, not vintage, new, another receipt, and one of the flashcard words. And then here's the second signature. This guy, he's fat. He wants to. Here's more deli paper, more. This is just plain paper from an old journal. This is from another flashcard word there. And this is just paper. This is just scrapbooking paper in the back here. All right, here is the CDV cover. On this one, I used through a stencil. I used a Tim Holtz stencil, and it's crackle paste through a stencil, and then I colored it. I added this beautiful tree image, and then this is just a little cluster down here with an old carpenter's wooden ruler, rusty washer, a number from random number snips, a little piece of fabric, And then this is actually sort of a tip-in page. It's been tipped in with fabric. And then I've got a little tuck spot back here with another one of the words. And then this backing is, and it's sewn, and this backing is from 49 in Market. And this is just a little, the People's Gas, Light and Coke Company. That's great. Gas, Light, and Coke, all at the same place. Okay, so that's just tucked in there. This is also from Tattered Paint with a little bit of that faux tape. More coffee dyed paper. And here's another pocket. This just has, this is raw mulberry back here in the back, just a little piece. There is mica on the front, and again, I sewed it, did a little sewing on it. And that is a bug or a pocket from Vintage Bugs book. And then this is a journal card that I made from, this is from Bumper Florals. But because it was all greenery, I thought it would go well in this journal. And there's more of that paper from a freebie from Tracie. And that just slides in there. And then another vocabulary card tucked inside. More journal paper, more of the deli paper. This is another belly band using the rest of, or actually I think I did this one first, and then I had some left over and used it for butterflies. So the rest of that piece there. And then some, let's see, is this a legit cigarette card? It looks like a bird feeding her babies. This is a page from Chatterbox, from an old and late 1800s Chatterbox that I have. And I just backed it with some scrapbook paper and an old envelope that is the color. I thought the color was really pretty. But you can stick something in there if you want. Then here we have more of that mulberry paper, more of the rusting, and then another one of the metal bugs from Tim Holtz that I used alcohol ink to dye. So this is the first of the signature number 3. And actually, these pages that look like this is from Dusty Florals. So I mix and match my kits from Tracie all the time. And I've used Dusty Florals in Botanical, but this particular page I believe is from Dusty Florals, and then this is Tattered Paint on this side. So it's just printed 2 sides with 2 different kits. This is a page that I believe came from Sacred Mementos, and it's just a printout on top of, it's a beautiful image here, on top of an old ledger pager, but it's a really sturdy ledger page. So that was just put straight through her printer, and it really is pretty, really pretty. Coffee dyed paper. This is coffee dyed graph paper. And then this is an old ledger page where when I flipped it, I just went ahead and put a little glue on the sides here so that I could create a pocket. I've got more receipts tucked in there, and this one was really folded like this. So I just left it and tucked it in there, and another vocabulary word down there. And the center, this is another Tim Holtz, it's an embossing folder, and you know, it is pretty cool. And I just colored it and inked it and just played with it. I put a little bit of rust on it, although it's so dark it's hard to see, and created a tuck spot from it. And then we have another from Bumper Florals, another one of those cards, and then just some more random pieces in here from my stash. Taxes for 1937 are due now, so you might want to get on that and get those paid. The bookmark corner, the corner bookmark piece on this one I made using some of the leftover leather that I had, where I created all of the tabs, and then I just put a little metal piece on there, sewed it on, glued it on, sewed around the edges, and then that just slips on the corner. More journal page, and then I tucked this, created a little pocket out of this side too, and just have more check stubs, and I just thought this was great because it's got legit, I don't even know what that is, looks like grease marks, and so it's really, really grungy and old. What is it? The Union Publishing and Supply Company. So it's a certificate of some sort And it's just great. Great grunge. Great grunge. So it's tucked in there. This is more of the graph paper, more coffee dyed paper, more journals. I used a lot of vintage journal pages in Mr. Grunge. Here's another die cut, and this is tattered paint again. Clipped on here, I just have a little glassine envelope that has a few, one faux, I think one is a faux tea card and one is a real tea card. And then this is from Vintage Bugs. And here's the back of that mulberry where you can see some of that rust coming through and a little bit more rust here. This is a pocket I made from an Edith Holden page, and it's bulky because there's texture on here. This is the tag that I created. Here we go. Using a slide, and that's a bug on a little, just a round plastic piece. That this is from the Tim Holtz Metal Bugs. I just love those guys. And then another, what is this little card? Real ephemera, old ephemera. And that's just backed with craft paper. But he does slip in there. He just adds a little bit of bulk. And this is just paper, regular paper, journal paper, coffee dyed paper, more tattered paint here. And this is a little envelope. This is from the Tim Holtz, a die cut. And I've just added a tag there that I sewed around the edge from Vintage Bugs. More mica on the top and a little label from, I think that label's from Vintage Bugs too. It might not be actually, it might be from Botanical labels. Here's another one of those. Here's another pocket from another Edith Holden page. And this is another tag that I made. This has got little die cut fencing on it and a little baby pocket with die cuts, some rusted fabric, some rust, and then this has a little tag from Vintage Bugs on it that I just backed with some journal paper, but I didn't do anything else to it. I just left it a little baby. That should slide right in there. More of that old paper. Another flashcard, vocabulary card from Tracie's flashcard kit. Here's another one. And then you can see some of that rust coming through that's right here. So that was, like I said, that was so much fun to play with. And this is the last signature. Here's another pocket from Vintage Bugs. And on this one, this is an envelope from Vintage Bugs that I just folded up. But I added up here at the top one of the metal bugs from the Tim Holtz line. There's another vocabulary word back here. And he just slides in there like that. And I just stop him right before he gets to the bug. More mica on top of the butterfly here. And again, it's sewn. There's just little spots where little X's and little dash lines, straight stitching. This is a little pocket made from a glassine bag with a die cut here. And this is designed to be able to tuck underneath the top of this little leaf. When open, I don't have anything in the actual bag, but behind that, I created it as a tuck spot. Another vocabulary word, and just another little card made with, plain on the back to write on. Made from one of the kits. And this is called a signal. It's a metal kind of clip. And they come in different colors. I'll give you a close up. And they were designed to clip onto a page where someone's signature was required. So that's called a signal. And more rust, more mulberry, raw mulberry, more die cuts, more tattered paint. I think that's also from Dusty Florals. This is the envelope that I made, again, from Player Piano paper roll. And I just really played with inks and just rubbed them around and got some scratches in there. And this is a cigarette card with the bird on him. I don't know what that is. Is that oh, it says Nighthawk. It's a Nighthawk. And that's the paper that I used on the inside. and just sewed it up. And again, these envelopes are all empty. Get that in there. And more coffee dyed paper, another die cut, more vintage journal page. And here is another tuck spot. This is also from Bumper Florals, this piece in the back. Another bug from Tim Holtz, more rust, more raw mulberry. And then behind that, I have a card from Vintage Bugs with another signal, and it's backed with some journaling, some vintage ledger. I keep saying journaling, ledger paper. Okay, and here is this one does have a pocket in the back with the handkerchief, so it's here, and then that's my little signature piece stamped onto coffee dyed fabric. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. That is Mr. Grunge. Okay, next up, let's see. I think I finished Botanical last. So I will show you Wild Child. Wild Child is a departure from my norm. Wild Child is also the only journal that there is pieces in here from Tracie Fox, but it is not, I would not consider this a design team project. I've just got this wrapped with some sari. There is no actual affixed closure on this. This is the same sari that I used up here when I was weaving the piece. And so I just have that kind of wrapped around a couple times just to secure her, but she does stay closed. The outside cover is, I created it on a loom. It is all woven, hand woven, with different textures and different types of pieces. Sari silk, the eyelash trim. This is a real soft, just almost a buttery soft fiber. And then these are sort of regular yarn type fibers. And then this is wool, and yeah. So that is Wild Child. The stick is woven. It is a part of the weaving, as well as these little dangly pieces here, and the wool roving here on the front. And then I sewed, after the fact, I sewed on this bead, which is a kind of a tree of life. Tree, I don't know if you can see that very well. There you go. So yeah, that's the cover. On the inside cover, this is a fabric from Tim Holtz, and I just thought, you know, it went great. Wild Child is wild. She's got a lot of bright colors, and so this fabric worked really, really well. Now, I did something a little different than what I would normally do when I sewed in the signatures. So what I did is I took a piece of chipboard, a thinner piece of chipboard, covered it with the same fabric, sewed the signatures onto that piece, and then affixed that piece to this. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want to sew directly into the cover here, but I wanted it to be a soft covered journal. So it's a soft covered journal, and there is batting between the front and back. It's a soft covered journal with a chipboard or a harder spine. So that gives it a little bit of stability there. Boy, I can't talk today. All right, here we go. Wild Child. This, I just have it clipped here in the front, but this is the mixed media tag that I made for Wild Child, and there's a video on that. This Wild Child, let me back up. Wild Child has 3 signatures, so it's a smaller journal. The outside is 6 wide by 8 by about 2 inches. So all in all, she is a smaller journal. She has 104 pages on the inside. And then the kits I used, the 2 primary kits I used, one from Louise Heinzel is the Brusho Flowers, and another from My Porch Prints, and it's the Vibrant Damask. Then throughout the journal, you'll see flashcards, teal grunge and pink grunge from Love Junk Journals, also used on the inside of this one. So there you go. So this is from the Louise Heinzel's kit. The tabs that I made, these all have like glossy accents on top of dried flowers on the tabs. And she does lay pretty flat. She's full too. This is a watercolor paper with, or handmade paper with inclusions. And so it's got floral inclusions. So I thought that would be really pretty to include, just some cream paper. This is hand-dyed paper that somebody gave me, I don't know, probably 3 years ago, and I've never used it just because it's so bright blue. But I thought, well, what the perfect opportunity, right? Then I have these die cuts throughout, and in this case, I've used mica here again, but I used mica actually underneath, and these die cuts are sitting on top of the mica, just to create an interesting piece. And this particular paper, this blue paper, is a suede paper, so it's got a suede feeling to it. The rest is just regular scrapbook paper. This is a little pocket created from a die cut that I have. I think it's a Tim Holtz die cut. In here I've got, again, flashcards, again, vocabulary words, and then this was done, this is from an old kind of flashcard thing for the word add, and this is rice paper, added, brushed or sanded away, grunged up a little bit, and then it's just backed with, I think that's from the My Porch Prints kit, which is what this paper is in the background here. So let's just tuck up in there. Paper. This is another unique handmade paper. It's really soft, and then you can see through it, and I have no idea what it's called. This is mulberry paper. This is a handmade paper envelope back here in the back. Again, it's empty, and another flash card. This is just a floral cutout from a book that I had, and I've got glazing medium on top of it, so it's got a sheen to it, and then I've got glass beads medium here in the center, so it's textured as well. There's that mulberry paper. I don't know what it's called, paper. Here's a little pocket. It's got a little gold die cut leaf on it, and then this is just a tag I made using gold wax, embossed background, gold wax. And this is a cutout from the same book that flower came from. And then I've just got it backed with some of that watercolor paper. More bright blue. That's from My Porch Prints. And here's the back side of that. It's just a beautiful, beautiful paper. This is the envelope that I made for Wild Child. I just have it clipped on here. This is the envelope that made with player piano paper roll. So there's one of these in every book. And I've just got a little piece of fabric tied onto the lip there. This is a metal piece from Finnabar. It says perfection is overrated. This is from Bumper Florals from Tracie's kit. And then this is fabric, the same fabric left over from the inside cover. And the inside of this is lined with that fabric as well. And then the outside is just scratched up and grunged up and dirtied up and colored up with, I believe I used magicals on this one. And so these papers in the background are from Louise, but then I've used white embossing powder through a stencil to add the little doodads here. This is, I don't even know what kind of paper this is. It's crunchy. Here's another one of those die cuts with the mica sheet behind it. And this is more of that suede paper. So again, the mica in the back is just intended to add some interest to the two die cut flowers. Wild Child is all very floral. She's more abstract floral. I say that as I come to, this is from Edith Holden. It's not really abstract. This paper in the background is teal grunge. I've added more of the white embossing powder through a stencil. And then this is another die cut flower, and this has been also embossed. And then there's a little tag here. And then here's some of that same raw mulberry paper that I used in Mr. Grunge, just laid down there on the bottom. And that just slips right in there. More paper. This is like a vellum. Another one of those sheets from that inclusion. It's printed. And here this is the pocket, the bookmark, the corner bookmark that I made Back here in the back is just a little piece from that Louise's kit. And this is just a little printed card. I used the front, 2 cards actually, the front and the back. Sewed around it and created just a very simple, kept that one pretty simple. Here's another pocket. The page back here in the back is from a book. And then I've got another die cut flower. There's gesso splatters on here. This looks like a label from the random number snip strips. And then a little stamp behind that. Then there's more vocabulary cards here. And then this is another card where I used the rice paper on top. And then I've got some more of the white embossed, and it's just backed with paper back there. It just slides in. More textured paper, grid paper, more, I don't know what that is, deli skin. Here's the CDV cover that I made for this one. It's got this big flower from that same floral book. More of the white embossing. And then when you flip this open, this just creates a little pocket. So it's a flip up pocket. And inside here, I have a little envelope made from copper colored metallic paper. Thought that was appropriate for her. And just a little cutout from that same book that had all the florals in it, and another vocabulary card. So yeah. And then now here's the third signature, little bingo card stuck in here because all wild children play bingo. More of that really, really bright dyed paper, more mulberry paper. This is another one of those pockets using that die cut. Then in here I have a tag made from, the background here is from Pink Grunge. Sewing, again, same idea as what I did with the butterfly, but each of these 3 images and squares are from Bumper Florals, and then a little die cut purple flower. And then another vocabulary word. And then this is just a little collage with just some pieces from different things, a little key paper clip. And then inside are little cards from, this is from Teal Grunge. I think all of these are from, oh, there's Pink Grunge. So it looks like 2 from Pink Grunge and 2 from Teal Grunge. And I just cut them out as little cards that you could write on the back of, and slipped those in there with the key paper clip, which I'm gonna try to get back on. There we go. And that just slips in there. More of that cool paper, another really weird cool paper. This is very shiny. It looks like tufting, you know, on a couch. It's like grandma's couch. It's just it is really pretty. It's just it's just weird. And then on the inside, this is a piece of flower from that same book that I was using, and it's been embossed, so it's got a sheen to it. Here's another pocket. Again, made from the same floral book, another die cut flower on top that has also been embossed. And then this is just a little card. This is actually from a paper sample book. So this card was a sample, and the whole book was shaped like that. And I just added some embossed florals on there, die cuts, and some splatters. So I got that slipped in there. There's the rest of that. Another flash card, more of that very cool paper. Another printout from My Porch Prints, and here's another one where the mica is in back and the die cuts are affixed to the top. Mulberry paper in purple. There's the rest of that inclusion paper. Rest of the pretty blue dyed paper. Just some regular paper, and then a pocket back here in the very back. I just randomly put this little milk cap in here because Wild Child is random. Everything about her is random. So that's that. And then back here in the back, I just have a few pieces, fun pieces. This is made from a flashcard, and this is rice paper on top with more of that white embossing powder through a stencil. Then in front of that is just this really pretty embossed See if it'll come out. There you go. It's an embossed floral that I thought, and it's a card, but it's blank. Whoever gets this journal might have fun playing with that. It might be watercolor. It'd be cool. A tag that says she saw every ending as a new beginning. I thought that was appropriate for Wild Child. And another vocabulary card. And there we are to the end. And then I've got my little stamp on fabric pinned here in the back. And that is Wild Child. One more, right? I think one more. Yeah. Okay, last journal is Botanical. This is also a design team project for Tracie Fox Creative. The idea behind Botanical was that she has this quiet, sort of subtle outside, very neutral. There's leather pieces here and here on the spine. This gorgeous fabric. You can see that, beautiful. She's also got a rounded spine. This is also from an old book cover, and just pieces of fabric. This is a Tim Holtz stamp here on the top with just lots of hand stitching. And there's some stitching here. And then the fabric back here in the back is stamped as well. So, and then the sari silk. But everything about her is very just simple and neutral. And am I too close? Okay. She is 6 inches wide by 9 inches deep. The 6 inches does not count the curved spine. That's just the book board is 6 inches. And she's about 2.5 inches tall. She does have 5 signatures, and she has 168 pages in her. The journals, or the kits that I used from Love Junk Journals from Tracie Fox Creative are bumper florals, lots of bumper florals, of course, in here. Dusty florals, which is one of my favorite kits of hers. I absolutely love it. And I think Tattered Paint's my favorite, I think. I don't know, but all the compendiums are kind of cool too. And I did not use any compendiums, I don't think, hardly in any of these at all. And then also, of course, the flashcards. And then I also used, actually, it's right here, and I didn't write it down, just a few, from her Botanical labels. Okay, because, her name is Botanical. The scrapbook paper pad I used in this one is from Blue Fern Studios, and it's called Life's Vignettes. Beautiful paper pad. I wanted Botanical to have a very vintagey feel, different from Mr. Grunge. And so it's not necessarily grungy, but just vintage. And so all of her signatures are lined, both the front and back page of each of the signatures, with a vintage lace or crochet of some sort. I think they're all vintage. If I get to one that's not vintage, I will point it out. And then they're all sewn on. Okay, here's the pocket from a handkerchief used here in the front. And on this one, I just have this pretty floral postcard. And this is really heavy. But it does work to fit in here. But this is the mixed media tag. You can see the crack in the background, lots of metal. And the back is just black, but this is the tag that I made for this gal. Here we go. This is it's embossed and then has gold wax on it. Just a fun, I think there's also, if I'm not mistaken, I think I colored it first with liquid acrylic and then did the gold foil. Here's a tag from Bumper Florals, a vocabulary card, and a flash card tucked right there in that little tuck spot in the front. Coffee dyed paper. Here's more mulberry paper, but this one has little leaf inclusions in it. More ledger paper. And again, you can see anything that's had any age to it, I've lined with either washi tape or fabric. Mostly fabric, I think, in these journals. This is from Dusty Florals. Such a pretty kit. I love it. These are the tabs that I had created. And because the first of every signature has the lace on the edges, I put the tabs that I made further into each signature, but there is still one tab in each signature. There's a flash card. This is a dyed paper. Oh, here, look, compendium. This was actually made when I did my 8 tags, 1 tag 8 ways. It's an envelope made from player piano paper roll, but and it's got a magnet on it to close it. But I just thought that that was a fun little envelope to just slip in here, and because of the magnet, it just closes right up. You don't have to clip it in or anything. There's a page from an Edith Holden book. More of that dyed paper. Here's a little pocket. This is, I think, is from Bumper Florals. This is from the Botanical labels, and then the fake vintage tape. And then these are just some die cuts, a little collage here. This little envelope down here at the bottom, which I kind of have closed, is from a watchmaker's kit. I have and then the back of it is just this pretty floral. And then this is the background paper is from Dusty Florals. So pretty. Ledger, mulberry, coffee, and this on each of the no, not all of them. I think on 3 of the signatures, I created this little collage, and so this is just old book page, some stamping. This is just some colored, blue, dark blue paper, a die cut from one of the 49 market kits, and a little wax seal. And so that little cluster of collage is there. And then this is just a little pocket with a die cut from 49 in market. And in here I've got a vocabulary card, and I have an old letter from 1896. And the handwriting is just spectacular. Look at how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? It is ripped, so, but it's a 2 or 3? It's a 2-page letter. It's just so pretty. So that is tucked into that pocket. Onion skin, there's some more of that handmade paper that is so pretty. And here is, this is I think from Edith Holden. And then this is a tag I made just for fun. It's got some sewing on it, some grungy fabric. This is rusty fabric back here. Then deli paper. Here's another ledger page. This one, let's see. I think it's from the 1800s. And then throughout the journal, I have these pages from this book that I got from, I think Katie's Tribe of 5 is where I got it. And I left, in the actual book, they had these tissue papers on the top. And they're just beautifully aged. And I left those in there in the condition that they're in. I did line the pages all with fabric, but isn't that pretty? So there's several of these pages throughout the journal. Dusty Florals. This is a belly band. This is just some trim. This is one whole piece. This little velvet on top, and then I've got that affixed to a vintage piece back here in the back. This, I think, is from Esme, Crafty Me Shop. Another postcard, more beautiful handwriting. Look at that, look at that. Don't you wish we wrote like that? Kids these days can't even read that, let alone write like that, right? And another vocabulary card. And here's another one of those pages from that book. And that you can see the tissue is like all wrinkly. I didn't try to flatten it out really or do anything. I just left it. That's the way it was when I opened the book, which is really cool. But isn't that gorgeous? So we'll leave that there. More ledger paper. 1862. And then there's more of this textured paper in here throughout. Okay, next signature is, here's another collage in the front. This one has a little slide piece with some dried leaves on the inside, mica on top. This is old book pages from Chatterbox. This is just a brown craft handmade paper, and then the gold, this copper seal on that one as well. Mulberry. This is watercolor paper, coffee dyed paper, and this is just a little stationery piece. I thought it worked. More ledger paper, 1884. on that one. And there's more mulberry paper with inclusions. And here's the tab on this one. And then here is the envelope that I made for this with the player piano paper roll. And this is a T card and some vintage crochet that's affixed there. And then here's a little Tim Holtz slot pocket, a couple of vocabulary cards, a T card, a floral T card, wildflowers, and then there's just a couple little stamps and some tickets and things in there. There's more ledger. I'm skipping pages. Mulberry, ledger. There's the back of that little stationery piece, coffee dyed paper, watercolor paper, handmade paper, and this is a pocket made from a couple pieces of, this is the scrapbook paper, and this is a digital printout here on the front. And no, actually this is not. This is a paper pad from Craft Consortium. I just have a little receipt tucked up here in this spot. This fold is open and there's a T card in here that slides right out. And that is another floral T card. I think these were, yeah, series of roses. So that's from a series of roses. And then back here in the back, I just have some vintage pieces tucked in here. This is about a club luncheon that was 85 cents. And this is another letter with just some fun handwriting. That one's a little later. That one's from 1947. This is from 1919. So just tuck those back there in the big pocket in the back. 85 cents for a club luncheon. That would be cool, wouldn't it? There we go. Fourth signature. Here's a pocket, just with a little kind of cluster down here at the bottom. This is from Tracie's Botanical Labels. There's actually a little bit of rust on this one. And then this is a tag I made. The background is from Bumper Florals. And then this is stencil. There we go. Through a stencil, it's modeling paste that I colored and then put it on through a stencil. So it has like a ledger stencil. So it's got a cool texture to it. Little vintage button there, and the back is, this is just backed with that watercolor paper. And then here's another one of those pages from the book with the florals, the dahlia, so pretty. More ledger paper. This one I did create a little pocket. Just have a couple of pieces in here. I don't even know what this is. It is in a foreign language, so I have no idea what that says. Society of something. This is from Sacred Mementos from Patty Lang, and she just took flashcards and printed floral on top of the flashcards, and I thought that was really pretty. And the blue works well in here. There's lots of blues in here. Okay. This is just a die cut affixed, and here's another one of the page tabs. More of the textured paper. And here's the CDV album for this one. And this is just a straight pocket that's in here. And on the tag on the inside is some dried flowers through a slide, a little die cut, some vintage lace, some vintage book page, and it's just backed with, it looks like that watercolor paper. So that just slides right in there, and that one's kind of hidden because this has this, and there's mica here, and then this has that. This is that image is from Bumper Florals, which I think I used again somewhere. This is just clipped in here. It's an old glassine bag, all wrinkled, with something on the inside. Looks like a receipt of some sort. This is kind of a vellum stationery paper, so pretty. More ledger paper. That's also a little pocket that's got a few things in it. These are from Bumper Florals, and I just made little cards out of them just to tuck them in here. Another vocabulary word, and they just look cute tucked in here. And another page from that floral book. So pretty. And more copy dyed paper, and we are to the 5th signature. And here is the 3rd collage. Same basic elements, vintage book pages. This has a couple pieces from, I think that might be from Bumper Florals. This is from Bumper Florals. I put glazing medium on top of it to give it a little bit of sheen. And then here is the copper wax seal. More copy dyed paper. There's another flashcard, and here's the back, another one of the printed ledger papers. Here's another little pocket here, and another, I used a signal here on this flashcard. And then this is that velvet paper. I don't know if you can, there you go. You can kind of see, you know, when I rub it, you can kind of see it's just a really cool texture. And that's that paper. That's what the back side of the paper looks like. I need to find some more of this. So this is just a Tim Holtz die cut envelope. And I just put a die cut on the front. And that goes in here. Like that. Okay, and there's the 5th tab. This is just a little belly band that I created. There's a little die cut flower here. This is raffia, just woven through kind of like a corset through a bunch of eyelets. And then there is a tag back here. Let's see, this is a blotter. Look at that, a legit old blotter, or they used it as a blotter, but it's that really soft absorbent paper, so it's probably great for blotting. And so that came in, I think that was in one of the ledgers that I've gotten. And so I tucked that in there because I thought that was fitting. And then this is a tag I made. The top up here has, through a stencil, this is the vintage beeswax. And the stencil is actually sort of a stencil that looks like drips. There's just some layers back here. There's a tag from a page from an old, like an old journal. This is from Bumper Florals. This is fabric that was in a rusty bath. A little bit of sewing on there. And then this is just a little metal piece that when you flip it over, it's the backside, it's a little clip. And I actually glued that on there just so that it would stay. And then I put a little different topper in there. Nothing in the top. And that just slides in there. And onion skin paper. There's the other print, the back side of that printed page. Coffee dyed paper. This is like a deli paper. And in this journal, it's in the very back. This is the corner bookmark I made for this journal. It's just slides on here. And this is just made with 2 pieces of cardstock from the 49 and Market scrapbook paper. Looking for the words. A few pieces of fabric here, a little bit of sewing, a die cut leaf that has been embossed, and a vintage button. And so that just slides on there. Those were fun to make. I may make more of those. And then when it flips over, it looks like that. And we are to the end. My shop name, Kip's Corner, on a stamp, on fabric. There's one of these in all of the journals, and then this has another pocket in the back made from that handkerchief. So that is Botanical, and that concludes, that was a lot to go through. I didn't think I was ever going to get done, but I did, and they are here. Now, let's talk about, you will see this video before I even attempt to have time to get pictures taken and posted them in my Etsy shop. They are all available. However, Botanical and Mr. Grunge both have first dib requests. So now that I've done the flip through, if those people are still interested in those 2 journals, those will be sold. Butterfly is wide open and Wild Child is wide open. If you want to private message me, there's a Linktree link in the description box below all of the other links and information about all of these journals at the very, very end. Scroll on down, click on that. You can get to my email address there. You can also message me on Facebook. But if you're interested in any of these, let me know, because even the first dib on these two, they may have changed their mind, which is fine. But I'm going to probably, based on my schedule and what I've got going on, it will probably be about a week or so before I post these on Etsy. So if you're interested, by all means, contact me beforehand. That saves me the trouble of getting the post ready to go, which is actually kind of a pain. So I will work through it if you're interested. Otherwise, if these are still available and still remaining by this time next week, then I will post them in my Etsy shop. So that's that. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for joining along with this series. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I don't know that I'll ever do 4 at the same time again, but maybe 3. But I'm going to take a couple week break, and probably not start on a new journal until definitely after Christmas. Let's just say it that way. Maybe even after the new year. I may not start on anything until the 1st of January, but 'tis the season, right? Don't forget the Advent tags, the Christmas collaboration tags from Love Junk Journals is going on now. This video should post before my day. My day is December 16th. And so you should be seeing this before then. But by all means, catch all of them. I have a playlist where I have them all the videos in the playlist. Lots of fun going on for, a little while longer, of course. And so it's never too late to join in the fun. Meanwhile, thank you so much for your support. Always greatly appreciated. And I will be back. Bye.